I just got back from work and it was Halloween themed, hence the get up. But this week I would like to talk about being alone. Since when was being alone a bad thing? That is a lyric from a band called Dale Kerrigan, and they're from Dunedin. And they're from the country that I'm from, which is Aotearoa. And this week I want to talk about this lyric because whenever I listen to that song, it just resonates with me so hard. I know that being alone can be a really daunting thing, especially when you're in that mindset of I'm used to being around people, I'm used to being validated by people, I'm used to being seen by other people, and not sort of having that ability or that vulnerability or that willingness to see ourselves, to validate ourselves, to be with ourselves, to be our own best friend. And I remember this was really uncomfortable when I first started doing it. I remember when I first started saying I love you to myself, and I'm thinking in my head, this is a blatant lie. I don't understand how I'm going to get from point A to Z, But it is a process, and I know as best as anybody else that's had similar experiences to me, that it is hard when you want something out of life, when you want to achieve something, when you want to go after something, and there's things that hold you back, and those things is you, because you're surrounding yourself with other people constantly. You can't be by yourself. You're constantly having to body double, being codependent, having those kinds of relationships in your life that kind of keep you in that mindset, that keep you stuck and keep you anxiety ridden, just being alone in your bedroom, just thinking, how can I exist? And then you start doom scrolling and you bed rot and you just find it really hard to do anything. I think that the willingness and the drive and the passion is something that can be easily accessed when we are by ourselves and when we do start building that relationship with ourselves. Because say you have a friend and that friend is a person that you love, or maybe this is your partner and you love them and they're so talented and they're so passionate and they have all of these dreams, and you're just oh my gosh, please just let me give to you. I want to support you. I want you to be great. I want you to be fantastic. You being somebody else's biggest cheerleader, right? It's about doing that for you and really turning to yourself and saying, I see you. I see what you want. I know what you want better than anybody else on this planet. I know you better than anybody else on this planet, and I want to know more about you, because if I know more about you, then I know more about what will work in terms of building a fulfilling life, building happiness around me, surrounding myself with things, with situations, and with people that fuel me, that recognize that energy within me, that can see that how much I give back to myself because I know that I'm worth it. And so they treat me that way as well. If you could only see me side by side with the person I used to be, completely unrecognizable. And it wasn't easy getting here, but a lot of it was being alone. And sometimes I made the mistake of being alone too much and not wanting to give my energy to anyone. Rightfully so. I mean, when you're one way and then you swing the other, you're going to swing really far, or at least I did. And I was just so wary of giving my energy to anybody. And even now to this day, I still have a bit of trust issues around that whole thing. But, it's something I'm actively working on, because I have been trying to get to this point, or working to get to this point, where I have really deep and fulfilling connections and friendships. And obviously I have my partner, and they were there through this time where I was alone, where I was spending a lot of time by myself. But it was a decision that I made, because I think being at that rock bottom that I often talk about really made me zoom out, and it made me question, and it made me really see the reality of the life that I was living and the things that I was choosing, and, you know, just living to go to parties, just living to hang out basically, and not actually work towards anything. And it's not something that I was taught ever. You know, I went to school and it was nothing that I was passionate about, and even if it was, there was nobody that was like, you know, right up my backside really just teaching me how to work towards things that I wanted. It was always, don't work towards things that you want, work towards things that are practical, work towards getting a really good paying job and working a 9 to 5 and buying a house and being stable and having, you know, money to retire with. Being alone means, you know, not giving your energy to people that freely take it without giving anything back. It means that you miss out on things. But if you look at it this way, there's missing out on something like a cool hang with your friends, and then there's missing out on a lifetime of achievement, a lifetime of fulfillment, because instead of, you know, going over here and hanging out with your friends and wasting time and wasting days, or even just like bed rotting and escaping yourself completely in all kinds of ways, you're doing that over working towards something, whether that is a dream or loving yourself and bettering yourself and understanding yourself on a deeper level. Because when you understand yourself on a deeper level, you know exactly what you want. And then because you love yourself, because you're on your team, because you're supporting you, you're going to find ways to get there. And it takes baby steps every day. And over time, it will build up. And then you're going to look back and you're going to be like, oh my God, I don't even recognize myself from 3 years ago. And I still have so much love for her. I really do. And I wouldn't be the person that I am today if I didn't go through the things that she went through. All of the heartache, all of the betrayal, you know, everything. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for everything that made me stronger. And even on this journey, you know, I had friends that just kind of turned their backs on me when I walked away. And, you know, I understand why. It's just something to keep in mind, you know, social isolation or social being pushed away from a friend group, or being pushed away from people that, I don't know, that don't understand this journey that you're choosing or whatever. At the end of the day, what I'll always say to that is like, what is for me will be, and what isn't, I set free. And having faith and trusting that, because it is so important to recognize that you have the ability to trust, and you have the ability to have faith, and you have the ability to have hope, and that you have the rest of your life to find out. Your world is so much smaller than the possibilities of whatever comes after this, after that leap of faith that you take. And you're going to take that leap of faith, and you're going to walk that walk, and you're going to talk that talk, and things around you are going to change, I promise you. It's so frustrating because I know so much at this point, and communicating these ideas can be really frustrating because I want to communicate this accurately, and I want to communicate this in a way where it's really understood that you're allowed to trust this journey. You're allowed to have faith and have undying hope that things will get better, and that these first steps and these first decisions that you're making will have a profound and incredibly intense impact on everything that comes after this. Everything that you work towards after this, everything that you create, and within and without. being fueled and being given life by your soul instead of something superficial like seeking validation or trying to prove something to people. It comes from your soul. You are worthy of trying. You are worthy of loving yourself. You are worthy of giving yourself a chance. Because being alone is not a bad thing. Being alone is the greatest opportunity for growth, for knowledge, for inspiration, for action. You don't need friends. Like, of course you need friends, but you need real friends. And if you don't have any real friends around you and you're not a real friend to yourself, then being a real friend to you will be your first real friend. And then after that, everybody else that comes into your life is either going to be a real friend or they're going to be a fake friend. And you're going to be able to tell the difference. And you know why? Because you know. Because you did it. Because you are your friend. You are a real friend to you, so you know what it feels like. You know how people treat you. You know because you know how you treat yourself. And I'm sure that you'll find that you're actually going to enjoy being alone more than you're going to enjoy being around people. I used to think that I was an extrovert. I'm not. I love being alone. I spend every day in my room, and I treat every day like it's a work day, even though I'm not getting paid for a lot of the stuff that I do. And on the weekends, that's when I spend time with my friends. I mean, I'm part of a music community. It's what happens now. I have more friends than I've ever had in my life, but they're not necessarily close. I have 2 really close friends, and then my partner, and that's it. And that's all I need. And I'm so happy with that, because first and foremost, there's me. It's me before anyone else. And not in a selfish way, in a self-love kind of way. I'm my own best friend. I am looking out for me always. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's difficult. Some days are more difficult than others to really show up for myself and look after myself and get out of bed. But it's about having that consistency, and even if you just give yourself a couple days and then right back into it, showing up for yourself time and time again builds that relationship. Your consistency and your ability to come back to yourself every time, even when you do fall off, will build that self-trust subconsciously. It builds that relationship. You should always be aiming to be your own best friend and always have your own back. And who cares if nobody else does? Who cares if nobody else is? Because everybody else is on their own journey in this life. Nobody's perfect. Even friends that you've had or that you have that aren't great, that have these things about them that, maybe they're mean to you, maybe they're insecure. There's reasons for these things. There's reasons why our friends do these things. There's reasons why people disappoint us. There's reasons why people hurt us. But you know what? We don't have control over that. But what we do have control over is our relationship with ourselves. And, I can be a control freak. So it's been really great, being in control of myself. You have a best friend that's waiting for you. And they are ready to give you everything that you want. They are ready to be on your team. And they're right here. Not me, but you. So really hope that this video helped. I hope that you do something nice for yourself today. And I will see you in the next one.